Life.
What happens while you're waiting to die?
Welcome inside the Rowdy Studios, where today we talk Michigan. Hell of a good 400 is the name of the race.
Oh, you know what?
It's going to be a hell of a good race.
Don't even start with me in these stupid race names.
All right, that's terrible. We're never going to get the sponsorship if you keep acting
from
like
Hell of
that.
a Good Sour Cream
Yes,
Dips.
we could get sponsorship from them. It's good sour cream dip. Let's talk about Michigan because drivers love this racetrack.
Well, they do, because it's wide. They can make things happen. They can take control of their own destiny to a certain extent. Drivers like it when they have options on the racetrack. And the ability to go 4 wide on a downforce track, they have options.
Yeah, and they also have options about how you drive the car through the corner, right? Because you can drive it on the bottom, you could drive it on the top, you could drive it in the middle, or you could start up high and come down low.
Could you start down low and go up high?
You can dime in the corner. There's all kinds of things you can do out there. Listen to Greg Biffle talk about a place where he's won twice.
Michigan is so much fun. I love that racetrack. It's always a fuel mileage, always strategy. You know, we can race 4 wide on a downforce configuration. No other racetrack on the circuit can we do that, except we see it at Michigan. And I really like that place with, you know, winning there in the Truck Series and the Cup Series. I like that track.
So we know handling is going to be a big key here, right? Because there is a lot of corner at Michigan, sort of like Atlanta has a lot of corner. Michigan has a lot of corner. So if you can handle, find a place, find a line through the corner where your car is handling, you're going to do well.
Right. But on the other hand, it's very possible that this race is going to come down to fuel mileage and track position. Track position because it's a downforce racetrack. Fuel mileage because it often does, and we've already seen 2 fuel mileage races in the last 3. Remember, when Dale Earnhardt Jr. won here a few years ago, it was on fuel mileage.
And don't forget, with fuel mileage now, it's not just, well, can the driver save fuel and how good of a mileage?
Can they get the fuel in the car?
Can they get the fuel in the car?
Yeah.
Exactly, and that is going to be a key to this race. Track position, Kevin Harvick says, and Kevin did win here the last time, it's very important.
Usually when you're hooked up at Michigan, the leader's in clean air and moving through traffic pretty well, and if you're mid-pack, you can find yourself getting behind and lap down pretty fast because you're going to have a green flag pit stop and you're going to have a whole bunch of green flag laps. So you just got to be going from the time the green flag drops and keep up with your car and keep yourself up in the back.
All right, so the drivers to talk about, you know, it's interesting because we've always traditionally thought of this as a Ford track.
Yep.
But of
They
late,
haven't won here lately.
They haven't won here since what? Carl did it in 2008?
I think it was 2005. Oh, he did win in 08.
2008.
In 05 was about the last time these guys were dominating. They've only won that one race in the last 7, that Carl's win in 2008.
So maybe it's not as much of a Ford track as sort of we think.
Well, I think it's really one of those bellwethers. If Ford is running well, if Jack Roush is running well, they're going to do well here. Matt Kenseth has 2 wins here. Carl Edwards has 2 wins here. Greg Biffle has 2 wins here. I expect those guys, all 3 of them, to be up at the front because I think Ford is back on their game.
You know, it'll also be interesting to watch Kurt Busch. He has won here, and if he is on his game, and all indications are that he is on his game, this is a track where you could expect to see him do very well.
It wouldn't surprise you after a couple of weeks to see Kurt starting up near the front and running up near the front. Again, Denny Hamlin also won here last year. Again, he's not the same Denny Hamlin from 2010, but could he contend for a win? That will be interesting to see. Jeff Gordon, now that he's won Pocono, and he's got a couple wins here.
Yeah, but again, look at what happened to Jeff Gordon after he won at Phoenix. He disappeared for a couple of months. So
Jimmy Johnson's never won
talking
here,
about
too.
bellwethers, this will be a good bellwether for Jeff Gordon. Was that Pocono win a turning point, the start of a newfound dominance or newfound competitiveness, or is he just going to disappear again? But Jimmy Johnson
has never won here. But again, you could see him winning for the first time on a track like this. But this seems more like a Roush track than a Hendrick track, and we can't forget about Kevin Harvick. He did win the last time we were here. He does lead the series with 3 victories, and feels like, he said this week, that he feels like he's sort of focused in on some things. They were experimenting a little bit, and feel like they're finding some things and closing in on it. So could we see a little resurgence from Kevin Harvick?
It's possible. I'm going with Carl Edwards for his 3rd Michigan win.
I like Matt Kenseth in this race.
We haven't even talked about him yet.
Well, he's one of the guys with 2 wins. I like Matt Kenseth a lot. All right, that has been your Rowdy.com Big 3 pre-race edition for Michigan, the hell of a good 400. We'll see what happens and be back on Monday to talk about it.
Rowdy.com. Say it like it is.
Say what like it is?
Rowdy.com.